Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to the brand new Next.js course. I hope that you all are doing well. So, let's start with the introduction and what exactly the Next.js and what are the features. So, Next is nothing but an open source web development framework based on React and has gained a significant popularity due to its amazing features. It is developed by Vercel, and Next.js stands out for its robust capabilities, including server-side rendering and enhanced search engine optimization. Next.js provides built-in routing, making it simple to create a dynamic routes and handle the navigation within your application. So let's see. Next.js is nothing but a React framework, and it is building be able to create in full stack web applications by using Next.js. So you use a React component to build the user interfaces, and Next.js gives you additional features for the optimization and server-side rendering. So we will see what in detail about React versus Next.js in a next one's section. But before that, what exactly the Next.js provides you? So basically, the Next.js is nothing but a React framework for building full stack web applications. So you can use React components to build the user interfaces. And under the hood, Next.js also abstracts and automatically configures tooling needed for the React, like bundling, compiling, and more. So this allows you focus on building your application instead of spending time with the configuration. Obviously, it's a framework, so you don't need to add extra configurational details and installations like we do in a React. So whenever you are individual developer or a part of a large team, Next.js can help you to build an interactive, dynamic, and fast React applications. So Next.js is built up of all the libraries. It's a framework and it builds up all the libraries, okay, related to the next React.js. And it's added some extra features. It's strengthened the React in such a way that you can create your own full stack applications by using the Next.js framework. So then some libraries like React.js, Link, Images, they have their own routers and CLI and all these advanced features provided by this particular framework. Now, a framework for building a fast and search engine friendly application. So what exactly the framework is? Nothing but a library, tools, and conventions. Everything get combined and configured, and it's give you the enough environment to create your own full stack applications. So React is nothing but a library. It get included in the Next.js as a framework. So Next.js router, you don't create your own React routers and you have to link your files with the particular path. It's not needed. React Next.js already have built-in routers based on a file folder system. So based on the file folder system, you can create the routes and you can access the related file. So Next.js has a built-in router in it. Again, the compiler, CLI, and Node.js runtime is available. So it will be fast and quicker execution rather than the slower one. So what exactly the Node.js runtime is? Okay. So Node.js runtime, so for that, let's understand it's from the this particular blog. So the Node.js is nothing but an open source and cross-platform runtime environment for executing JavaScript. So we already aware about that Next.js built on a React and React built on a JavaScript. So it's a runtime environment for the execution. So how does the next Node.js or runtime it works? So Node applications run on a single process. Node does not create a new thread for every request. Okay. So what exactly it's do with the traditional servers? Is it often the case with the traditional server-side program. In this way, a node server can handle the thousands of concurrent connections without to contain with the thread concurrency issues and overhead multi-threading brings. Okay, so it's a event driven. Then this is the runtime environment where you execute your applications, and it's gives you environment to execute your full stack applications also. So basically where we are, yes. So Node.js runtime and web server, web browser where we execute the client, and Node.js runtime where we are executing our server side components. Okay. So as we already mentioned that Next.js able to create by means of an Next.js, be able to create the full stack application. So there are the server side components, there are some client side components, and to combine it, and we normally use a kind of a server where we are executing our server side code, right? And that is provided by the Node.js runtime. So front end plus back end, we can combine the code and we can create our whole application. React and backend. Okay, so this particular all the pictures denote the same thing. Now, Next.js is a React framework for building full stack applications, and you use React components. Also, Next.js abstract and automatically configures the tooling needed for the React, like bundling, compiling, and more. So this allows you to focus on building your application and instead of a configuration. So these are the main features provided by the Next.js over the features provided by the React. Okay. So there are some extra things we have to configure while we are developing the application by using the React, and which are the built-in a Next.js. So that is nothing but main features like routing, rendering. Okay. So normally we render the React component or a file on a client side, right? So it after some limit, okay, so that rendering on a client side will be little bit complex, difficult, and it will reduces the execution or response time of your application. So for the solution, Next.js created server side or rendering, and all the components, all the each files are considered as a server side component rather than the client side component. So by default, every component in Next.js is considered as a server side component, and it executes at the server side, and after on the request, it gets transferred on the client side. So it reduces that kind of a compilation and execution and time required to render the component on the client side. So the rendering mostly is a server side. Again, you can use the client side rendering. Obviously, for the event thing, we need the client side rendering when we click and kind of interactions happen. So you can create a client side component as well as a server side component in a Next.js. Now, routing is also based on a file system based, okay, folder and related files are there. So based on a file folder structure, you can perform the routing. In a next React, obviously, we need to import some React router, and we have to create some configuration, and then it happens. Next one is the data fetching. So obviously, this is important when it's supports a backend kind of a development. So it should have a strong concept, strong modules which fetches the data. So it simplifies the data fetching by using the async and await in a server component. And an extended fetch API. So enhancement is there for the fetch API for request memoization and data caching and revalidation. So this is the built-in one. Then again, for the front-end developers and for the creating client-side components and UI, so styling enhancement is there, some optimization techniques for the images, font, and CSS and JS modules are again Tailwind included. Mostly, most of the projects of Next.js are in TypeScript, so it also supports the TypeScript hugely. So that kind of a security is there. So these are the main features of our Next.js. So in the next video, we will able to see that what are the differences between the React and Next, in which situation, what you need to use, okay, for the product development, what you need to use, which one is the beneficial and how you can combine. So as per the documentation of a React, it's obviously suggests that you can go ahead with the Next rather than using React, but obviously depends. Okay, depends on your requirement on your product. Okay, so if you want a kind of a documentation, always it's better to go ahead with the official documentation. So there are options like you can get started and with all the features you're able to see, as well as you can learn the Next.js, and topic wise the concepts are explained very well. It's a documentation wise, Next.js is very good, so you can continue with this thing. So let's go ahead with the next topic, and which is nothing but our difference between React and Next.js. And then you will able to understand what exactly the server side and client side components. Then we will introduce one demo for the Next.js application. So hope you understood it. And if you have any queries, we will discuss in a Q&A session. Thank you so much. Take care.